Good morning, everybody. This is Tony Battaglia, Sales Director at FreeWave Technologies, and we are here this morning with our good friends at Commercial Radio and Mike Halliday at Faulkner Energy to talk about something a little new and different for us, and that's software. So those of you who have been close with FreeWave over the years are aware that we've been heading down the edge computing path for a few years now, having integrated the Edge Compute Linux platform to our Zoom Link and Zoom Edge devices. And now we're launching our first software-based platform, FreeWave Edge, which is designed to solve problems around lost data, low-quality data collection, some connection gaps, and congested networks. So quick thing on housekeeping before we kick this off. We are going to keep everybody on mute throughout the session. So if you do have questions, we just ask that you type them into the chat box, and we'll address them following the session. So with that, I'll kick it over to our Edge Software Product Manager, John Stratton, who's going to walk us through the platform.
All right, thank you, Tony. And good morning, everyone. I'm John Stratton, Product Line Manager for software. So I don't sell, I don't write code, but pretty much everything in between, and responsible for software strategy and roadmaps and getting things launched. So excited to talk to you today and get your feedback about FreeWave Edge, which is our new Edge software product. So who is FreeWave? If you've worked with us before, you definitely know us for our long-range, reliable connectivity and radios, but we are now expanding that into a full-fledged edge compute platform with gateways, edge data processing and analytics, and applications, and it's that we're talking about today. So we serve a lot of the heavy industries out there where there's a need for remote, rugged, reliable data collection and connectivity. You know, everything from government and defense to oil and gas to ag and utilities. Certainly, we've been in business over 20 years and have a long list of pretty well-known companies that we work with, and we're looking forward to expanding that with you as well. Just a quick reminder on our Zoom family of products. This is our Z9 900 megahertz radio with industrial grade C1 D2 ratings for hazardous environments, a wide range of temperatures we support. We launched the Zoom Edge last year, which has the industrial IO retrieval capability, and the Zoom family, as well as the new Fusion hardware that is also coming out later this year, is what FreeWave Edge runs on. So how does that work in a customer installation? You know, whether your endpoint in your radio network is a Zoom Edge, a Zoom Link, or the new Fusion, FreeWave Edge will run on all of those and provides edge data processing, alerting, and store and forward over the radio network, and then connects to whether it's cloud or SCADA or your own on-premise system. That's how FreeWave Edge fits into the overall FreeWave ecosystem. So we're going to start with our deep dive on FreeWave Edge today. So there's three main pieces here. There is the protocols and inputs, and in what we're talking about today and launching available now, we have Modbus, we have Emerson Rock for the flow computers, and we have the FreeWave IO on the Zoom Edge as the available inputs. With that, we're doing what we call high-speed edge polling, and then we have an edge data platform, which is the core that does alerting. It does the on-edge storage, so if you lose connection, we're storing the data, and it also does a couple different types of data publishing over MQTT to your enterprise system or your SCADA system or your preferred cloud platform like AWS or some of the other common cloud platforms out there. So we think this provides a bunch of benefits in that it saves you time and money in your operation and provides higher quality data, and it runs on the Zoom Link, the Zoom Edge, and the Zoom IQ, as well as on the new Fusion coming out later this year as well. So you can get now with FreeWave your connectivity, your edge data hardware, and your edge data processing all in one box from a single source at FreeWave. So now we're going to talk about a couple of the problems we think we have a good solution for. So if you're using a SCADA system with pole response over the air, you'll be more familiar with these problems than me, but you're asking in two-way communication, what's the pressure, what's the pressure? And then what happens if you lose connection to your remote site, your RTU or your PLC? Well, you're losing data. So that lost connection means you're losing data. The other thing that happens, say you've got an hour between poles, but half an hour in, you get a pressure spike. So there's a pressure spike on the end site, but you don't have any pole going at that time. So that's also lost data. And in both these cases, that lost data really turns into a dollar value impact on your operation, whether that's because of lost productivity or fines or poorly optimized production. That lost data is a big problem. So how do we solve that with FreeWave Edge? So with FreeWave Edge, we install one of our Zoom or Fusion devices, and we do the high-speed edge polling. So this is locally wired into the RTU and PLC. What's the pressure? What's the pressure? And instead of publishing data over the air all the time, we can publish data via store and forward. So you can take your polling rate from an hour down to under a minute, and we store every single value on the edge in the hardware of the Zoom itself. And then once, if you lose connection, once the connection is reestablished, we're handling the retries, republishing the data out to your SCADA system, out to your cloud system. And then the other option we have with alerting is we're doing our high-speed edge polling every 30 seconds. What's the pressure? Okay, if the pressure's up, we get that alert. We immediately send out that alert to your SCADA system or your cloud system without waiting for another poll, without waiting for a store and forward interval. So you immediately know when something's happening on your remote sites. So that's one of the challenges we think we have a good solution for. That is the challenge of data collection and lost data. The other challenge we think we have a good solution for is the challenge of bandwidth. And if you're running a pole response over the air network, you know that that takes up a lot of bandwidth, and it's pretty cluttered to show that the two-way communication, it takes a long time to go around and long pole each of those sites, and it takes up a lot of bandwidth to do that. So with FreeWave Edge, when we install FreeWave Edge on a Zoom link at each of those remote sites, we're now doing our two-way communication more locally next to that PLC, and we're providing more efficient one-way data publishing over the air to the SCADA system or the cloud system. And we're also doing those pressure alerts or whatever alerts you want based on how you've set it up and based on that local connection to the system. So this is also freeing up bandwidth so you can get either more data or add more sites to your network based on freeing up that bandwidth from pole response. So two problems we think we've got a good solution for there. One is lost data and data collection, and then one is making more efficient use of your limited network resources. And the store and forward feature here that I want to talk about that we'll show in a demo shortly is if we have an on-device database that stores readings, and so based on how many tags or IO points you have connected to your system, how often you want to pull that data locally. If we look at an example setup here of 25 tags and getting data every 30 seconds, with the store and forward feature, we have up to 3 weeks of data that we store locally on that device. And so if you've got less tags, we can store more data. If you need the data less often, we can store more data. Of course, this is affected by bandwidth and power and all that good stuff, but this is trying to give you an indication of just how powerful the data storage can be. This gives you a lot of time to fix issues, fix connection issues, but you still get your data once that connection is reestablished. So now we're going to switch gears here and do a quick live demo of FreeWave Edge. So okay, so we are now looking at the on-device website on a Zoom link. So for those of you familiar with the Zoom link, you'll know our system info tab where we have radio settings and network settings. FreeWave Edge is a licensed upgrade with additional software installation. And if it's installed, we add this Edge tab here at the top of the Zoom link webpage. And we're going to show a couple highlights here of the functionality, and we're going to use Modbus as our example. So for demonstration purposes, we're doing some internal diagnostics and polling between the FreeWave Edge software and the Z9 radio. We're polling some signal level diagnostics about the performance of that Z9 radio itself. So this is a board level Z9P2 running here at my desk, connected with some other units. So this is live data coming in. I can edit my Modbus configuration. So whether this is internal diagnostics or Modbus out of a total flow or some other device, we can set up the Modbus registers. We can set up the custom units. So instead of having to convert to degrees or pressure or some other units in some other system, you can do that conversion right in FreeWave Edge. And we can also set up our polling interval here. And then once you're connected, we have this last readings column that shows the value and the last time data was collected. So when you're out there in the field trying to get something hooked up, you can check this and know, yep, it's hooked up. This part of the system is good to go. So we're going to use signal level as one of our examples here. We're going to jump to the data publishing tab. So this is where you would set up your MQTT broker if you're in an MQTT based system. And we talked about that store and forward feature. So here you can set up your publishing frequency. So if you're polling every second and you're publishing data every minute we will send a MQTT message that has all those 60 seconds worth of data every minute. We have a couple different selections here of different data formats, some for compatibility and are easier to parse, some are more efficient over the air but require a little extra formatting once they arrive to your SCADA or cloud. If you are using a system that uses Spark Plug B, we also have an option here for real-time publishing, so we can publish the values as they come in rather than waiting for that every minute, every hour interval. So a couple options here for how we publish data. The other feature that I want to highlight is email alerts. So we have email for both Gmail and Office 365. You put in your account details and you can send alerts. So that's what I'm going to walk through here. So we're going to add a signal level alert, and we can say it is a threshold alert above or below a certain value, a rapid change to try and detect spikes. And now we can set our trigger condition. So we're going to say, I want to know when this is less than 0 for more than 10 seconds. We could set in an interval here, seconds, minutes, or hours. I'm going to hit next. And I have the option to send this alert either via MQTT or via email. So I'm going to put in, I'm going to alert Tony when this is going wrong. And then we can put in, okay, what's the timestamp? What's the value? What's the email message? The other nice feature here is all the major cell phone carriers have a specific address you can send an email to that's basically phone number at something.com, and you can then get a text message. So you can set up an email alert via either email or via text message. So as soon as something's going wrong in your operation, you know what's happening, you're getting alerted about it, so you can immediately take some action. So I'm gonna put in email address here, hit next. We're gonna put in a name, and it's now gonna show up on our list. And so that is all available. You'll see the tabs here, the Zoom Edge IO, the Modbus, and also the Rock devices. If you've got a Rock device, it shows up on this Rock tab. So then we've got MQTT publishing and our email alerts. So that's what I wanted to show in terms of a quick demo. And now we're gonna switch gears here a little bit and welcome Mike Halliday from Faulkner Energy. Welcome, Mike. Thanks for agreeing to join us today. Can we get a quick check? How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for joining. So for the rest of the audience, you've heard my presentation and about the value in the demo, but Mike's been using this in the real world, and we wanted to let you hear from him, about how this is going. So we've got a couple questions to go through with Mike here. So Mike, to start with, can you just tell us a little bit about your operation and your role and responsibility there?
Yeah, so guys, as you said, my name's Mike Halliday. I work for Faulkner Energy as a production and measurement and automation foreman here in East Texas. We run about 400 wells utilizing the total flows, plunger lift, and gas lift applications over a serial network with an Ethernet backhaul.
All right, thanks, Mike. So first question for you, what challenges did you have before, and why did you decide to upgrade to FreeWave Edge?
So our main thing that brought us to FreeWave Edge was our compressor call-out system we were utilizing for our high-speed units throughout the field, and our gathering system was becoming obsolete. Tech support was starting to become an issue. Can't buy the new units. The monthly fees and the LOE was a bit high. So we started looking at alternatives to kind of brace for when those units would not be available anymore. So got with Kenny over Commercial Radio and FreeWave, and turned us on to the FreeWave Edge system. And we tried to use our current system, but with the pole response, as you had alluded to in a previous slide, they're waiting for the pole to find out if the unit's down to come back. It's very inefficient. and it's critical for these alarms that we get them in a timely manner, and that FreeWave Edge email notification provides that instant notification and solve that issue for us.
All right, thanks, Mike. Next question. So how's the early FreeWave Edge setup experience and initial product usage been for you?
It's actually been a really easy transition. We've been using the FreeWave HG Plus in serial radios for the last 10, 11 years. And that ZoomLink product line was very easy to wrap our minds around, getting in the radio, setting the radios up. Whenever we went to go set up that the Edge portion of it, just some minimal guidance with FreeWave and commercial radio, and we had our first setup up and running, I'd say less than 20 minutes.
Yeah, thanks. That's good to hear. And the last question for you. So what sort of benefits do you see FreeWave Edge providing to your operation longer term?
So we work in a pump by exception system. You got a couple of optimizers, a lot of operators out there, and alarming is critical in that kind of system. So being that we're using a total flow to run the plunger lift application, kind of got together and saw how can we utilize this technology to kind of help identify some of these production issues and plunger lift issues, gas lift issues more efficiently instead of waiting on a pole. So started looking at things like battery voltage injection failures, failed plunger arrivals, MCF per run, pretty much anything it's in that total flow. It's very easy to pull it out and get it in that Edge alarming, and all the alarms thus far have come in inside of 30 seconds.
All right, thanks, Mike. So that wraps up the Q&A. Thanks for your participation, and you've been really great to work with on this, so much appreciated. Some of the little improvements you see here and there have been ideas and feedback coming from Mike. So Mike, thanks very much, and we're gonna continue on and wrap up the presentation a little bit.
Yes, sir.
All right, so FreeWave Edge pricing and availability. So this is $150 list price. The part number here is on the screen if you'd like to get in touch, if you've got existing Zoom links you'd like to get upgraded or some new orders to put in place. So everything you saw today in the presentation is available for that $150. That is a one-time activation, not a subscription. Of course, future features might be different, but that's where we're at today. This is available on the Zoom link, the Zoom IQ, and the Zoom Edge, and it does include that IQ license, the Linux environment license, at no extra charge on the Zoom link. And this will also be available on the Fusion later this year as well. So if you'd like to get in touch, please do so. The last quick teaser we have here is a beta feature that we call Ethernet over serial radio. So if you're using an FGR2 or FGR3 radio in the field, we have this option, which is a software license and a cable. We take the existing serial radio network and we add a Zoom IQ at the gateway end, the radio gateway end, and each of your individual endpoints. So now you can run and connect Ethernet applications. You can run FreeWave Edge on that Zoom IQ, but keep your existing radio infrastructure in place. So that's currently in beta, but it does provide an upgrade path if you've got FGR2 and FGR3 radios that you're interested in getting some of these Edge applications on. So where do we go from here? We have the Modbus, the ROC, the IO available today. We've got the various forms of email alerts and Edge data publishing, and we've got our alerting, our on-edge storage as part of our Edge data processing. but we are adding to this throughout the year. We're adding additional protocols like Allen Bradley. We are adding additional processing like PLC Lite. And certainly we want to work with you if you're looking at the presentation and thinking, hey, I wish FreeWave really could do X. Definitely be in touch with us. We are expanding this platform as we go, and definitely want to make sure we're solving the real world problems that you guys have out there. So with that, I'll say thank you very much for your time in the presentation today. Hope you found it valuable. If you've got additional contacts, please be in contact with Kenny and our friends at Commercial Radio, and we're happy to provide all the support and question answering we can. So thanks very much.
All right, thanks, John, and thanks, Mike, as well. Let's open this up for questions now. If anybody in the audience has any questions, type them into that chat window and we'll address them. So I haven't seen any come in yet. I know John's presentation is pretty comprehensive, but yeah, we'll give it a minute or two and see if anything comes in. All right, so not seeing so much come in. If anybody does have any questions, like John mentioned, please reach out to us, reach out to the folks over at Commercial Radio, and yeah, any interaction, any feedback, good, bad, or indifferent is always good on our end. So thank you guys again. We certainly appreciate your time. Hopefully this was something of benefit to you, and hopefully we'll all talk soon.